Hi everybody. So this is going to be my labor and delivery video. I am very sorry that I didn't get it up sooner, but I'm just super busy with all kinds of things. And if I'm speaking a little bit low, that's because it's really late at night, so I do apologize. And just a little heads up warning, this is going to be a TMI video, so if you're going to feel uncomfortable or if you can't handle that, please don't watch it because I don't want anyone to feel, weird or whatever. And I'm making this video for everybody that watched all my pregnancy videos and wants to see the ending of my pregnancy or hear about it and hear about the beginning of a new life that I brought into this world. So, and also I have a couple of friends that are pregnant that are due in just a couple of weeks, so I really hope that if they watch this video, it'll build their confidence or just really prep them for what's the reality and what's gonna really happen to them if they choose to give birth the same way that I did. Okay, so let's just get right into it. So it all started on November 14th 2016, the night before I gave birth to my daughter, and around 8 p.m. I started to get contractions that were 10 minutes apart. But that whole week I had been in and out of the hospital, but I kept getting sent home because they told me it was just Braxton Hicks. So I thought it was the Braxton Hicks just happening every 10 minutes. So a couple hours go by and they're still there. They're painful, but I'm just like, let's just try to go to sleep. Obviously it's getting late, and then when I wake up, they'll be gone. So I go to sleep. My baby's asleep, my husband's asleep, and then I all of a sudden wake up from the pain, and just like cramping. It's like super tight pain. So I wake up, and then I feel like I have to poop or I have diarrhea. So I run to the bathroom, and I'm sitting on the toilet, and nothing's happening. It's just like cramping. So pretty much it feels like PMSing, but like 10 times worse. And since obviously I didn't go to the bathroom, I just laid back down, and then it kept becoming a thing for the next 20 minutes. Getting up, going to the bathroom, coming back down. Like I kept thinking, I'm gonna go to the bathroom or something, but it never happened. And basically that's the contraction. So that's how I'm gonna explain it. That's my experience. I feel like contractions feel like you either really have to poop or you have diarrhea, and like PMSing, but like 10 times worse than all of that combined together. So it's really uncomfortable feeling for me. That's the closest thing I can explain it to. So after that 20 minutes of going back and forth from each other, basically it started to progress even more, and I started to time it. Like I wrote it down on a piece of paper. It was 5 minutes apart, every 5 minutes apart. It did not skip at all. So I was kind of thinking like, oh gosh, like this is getting a little intense, but am I just being a baby because they've been sending me home? So I just decided just to not wake up my husband and just try to deal with this. But I couldn't lay down. Anytime I would sit down, anytime I would lay down, it honestly felt like the contractions were getting worse to me. So I was just pretty much standing there, and then after about an hour more of dealing with this, it was starting to get hard for me to breathe. So I was breathing really, really hard, and obviously when you breathe hard, it's kind of loud. So my husband actually woke up from me breathing hard, and because our bathroom is in our bedroom, that's why. So from him hearing me breathing hard, he woke up, and then he's like, dude, are you okay? Like, what's going on? Are you about to give birth or whatever? But I was just like, no, I'm fine. Like I can deal with this, And he just was officially up by then, and he's just watching me saying like, are you sure? Because, you're breathing kind of hard and this and that. And then pretty much about a couple more minutes go by, and I have tears rolling down my face. Like, I'm in so much pain. And then after that, he sees the tears and me breathing hard. He's like, no, like, we gotta go now. So he's like, I packed the labor and delivery bag and also my son's bag for when and where he would be going. So I'm really glad that I did that a couple days before we left. So that was really good, because I know in all that pain I wouldn't be able to be doing it right there, or nor did I have the time to be doing that. So he pretty much just got it ready to the door, and he got my son, And in the whole time he did that, all I could do was put my shoes on and call my dad. That's all I could do. That's how much like pain I was in. So it's by this time it's 3 a.m. and I call my dad, and on the second ring, he answered, like, ring, ring, answered. I was like, what the heck? Like, I was really surprised because it's 3 a.m. So I just, told him, breathing really heavy and, like, having tears rolling down my face, that I'm in pain and, we're going to go to the hospital. So he's just like, yeah, cool, bring Miguel over. So I'm thankful that they're only like a minute and a half away driving. That's how far apart they live from us. So we just dropped him off, and he came out to say like good luck, and I hope everything goes well. And in like when he said that, I was just in so much pain. I just wanted to leave now, but I was really happy. He's like wishing me good luck and everything. But I just I couldn't deal with it. I just wanted to leave now, like go to the hospital. And I didn't even have time really to say goodbye to my son, even though he was asleep. So I kind of felt bad. But in the moment with all the pain, I was just like, no, like I don't have time. Like I gotta go now. So my husband just put him in the house, and then my dad came out, said what he had to say, and then went back in, and then we left, and it took us about 15 minutes to get to the hospital, which was like the worst 15 minutes ever, because like I said earlier, sitting down and laying down made it feel worse for me. So I'm just like literally like lifting myself up, trying not to sit down. And I can't even remember if I wore my seatbelt or not. Like I know that's unsafe and all, but like that's how bad it was. And I didn't even want to walk like from the parking lot. I made him drop me off at the door at the hospital. So yeah, and then I just I wish I could have ran, but I couldn't run. I just walked, and I kept freezing because I was in so much pain. Like every time I would get a contraction, I just have to freeze and breathe through it and have tears rolling down my face. So I had to pause from walking into the hospital. And then when I got there, the nurses put me straight into triage. If you don't know what that is, I guess look it up because it's kind of hard to explain. So they put me into triage, and it was kind of annoying because in triage, you can have multiple people in the room because it's not your labor and delivery room. So there was a girl in the room with me. There was just a curtain blocking, but she was really irritating me because she was trying to say, oh my god, I'm about to give birth, and she was only 23 weeks pregnant. She wasn't having any contractions, and she was talking, and she was fine, and she was laughing. And when the nurses would leave, she's just on her Facebook and chilling with her friend. You could totally tell that everything was fine. She was just bored. I don't know what the heck, why she was in there or whatever, but she was just kind of annoying me. And the nurses were paying more attention to her since she had so much to talk about, that the nurses weren't focusing on me, so that's kind of irritating. And finally, my husband comes in from carrying all the luggage and everything by himself and going and parking and all that. He finally got to me, and at that point, it was really bad. Obviously, I stopped timing the contractions, but I could tell that it got way worse because I started to feel like I was gonna throw up, and I was trying to hold it back, but I was literally gonna throw up in my hand. And from that, he knew oh my god, she's gonna throw up. So he ran, he got a nurse, and the nurse came, and she gave me this green bag that they have, just green bags to throw up in. So as soon as I got it, I just threw up. And I didn't just throw up once during the time of being in triage. I threw up 3 times in triage, and I was only there for 25 to 30 minutes. I was in triage. And they also came in and they checked me, but I told them dude, I don't want to get checked because I feel if I'm gonna get checked, this baby might come out. But they still checked me. The baby didn't come out or anything. And when they checked me, I was at 4 centimeters dilated. So after that, they tried calling the doctors that are there to deliver the babies, anybody that comes in, but the doctors were busy doing a C-section, so the doctors just told them to go ahead, and move me into labor and delivery. And then we'll see what happens from there. So we get there, and like, well, they just roll me, you know, from that bed to another bed, and then I go down the hall, but I'm in so much pain, and I think I threw up like rolling down the hall like in the bag, and it was really gross and everything. And it's not even because I wanted to throw up, it's like the contractions get so tense that it's squishing your stomach, so I think it's making the food like come back up. That's just kind of how I think that all went down. But I told them once I got into the labor and delivery room that I told him that I wanted the epidural, because I knew if I'm barely at a 4, which a 4 is already like you're gonna give birth, but I told him if I'm already at a 4, like, and I can't handle this pain, if I'm already throwing up and having tears coming down my face and I'm like sweating a lot and it's getting hard for me to breathe, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to handle this. Like, what if I pass out during giving birth or something like that? So I knew I couldn't do it natural, so I asked for an epidural, but since it was already like, it was only like 3:30 a.m. They said that the guy that does epidural either like wasn't there yet or he was busy or something, so it took him like an hour and a half to get to me. Like, I don't really know since I was in pain, but I know they said something like that, and I was like, dude, like, isn't his job to do this, to like give me the epidural and give me it on time, you know? So I was just like super upset by then, like the pain and dealing with the lady in triage, and then them telling me like, no, you can't get epidural yet, you know? I was just like not having it. So they brought in this other lady, and she gave me like some temporary pain medication. Like, it would look like she was giving me shots, but I still have the dots because she missed 4 different times. I don't know if you guys can see it, but right here there's 4 dots, and that's from the medication. One of them is a medication to help me stop throwing up, because I couldn't stop throwing up. And then another one is for the pain, and then she missed the other 2 times. So yeah, and every time she missed, I was like getting more upset with her, and I was bleeding a lot from her missing. Like, every time she'd miss, it would just bleed a lot because she was just getting like the skin and all that. So finally she gets it in, and once I got it, it took a couple minutes, and then it kind of like worked, but it only worked to the point where I wasn't throwing up, and I wasn't like crying, like I wasn't having tears running down my face. But the contractions were still really bad, you know? It just stopped the crying and it stopped the throwing up. That's all it did for me. Then finally the guy comes, and he gives me the epidural, and pretty much after that everything got way better for me. By that time it was already like regular morning when people usually get up. It was already like 5 or 6 a.m. So everything was good, and then they called my OBGYN, since the regular doctors that deliver the babies there weren't even like responding, like nobody even got to me. I was just with the nurses. They called her, and she said, don't induce me to make it go by faster, just let me do it naturally, you know. She said I could do the epidural and all that, which I already had done, but she didn't want to induce me. She wanted my water to break on its own, and she wanted the baby to come on its own. She didn't want to pressure the baby at all. So they just listened to what she had to say, and a little bit after that, I called my parents, and then had them coming on their way, and then a little bit later, like around 8 a.m., the nurses were telling my husband, like, oh, this baby's going to be coming soon, because she's already, like, at a 7 or an 8 centimeters, because they had been checking me throughout the time, and they said, like, go get some food from the cafeteria. So he was leaning down to give me a kiss, like, to say goodbye, to go get the food, and right when he was leaning down to give me a kiss goodbye, I just felt, like, water coming down my leg. And then I obviously knew. I was like, and I like froze, and he was like, dude, what's wrong? Like, cause I just like froze there. And then I was like, I think my water just broke. And the nurses like kind of moved him out of the way and like checked real fast to see. And yeah, my water did break, but it went out in like gushes. So it broke and it gushed out, But I guess when your water breaks, I didn't know this, it doesn't just all like come at once. Like the water, like it gushes and then it stops and then it goes again and it goes again until all the water, all the fluid is gone. So they said, oh, don't worry, like you still have time, but I thought like, oh my God, I'm gonna give birth like right now. But I guess that's not the case. So they told him like, no, it's okay, like you can still go, because when I told him that the water broke, he's like, never mind, I'm not gonna go, like I'm just gonna stay here, I can eat after you give birth. But they're like, no, just go. So he left, he went, and then he came back, and then my parents came. So when I delivered the baby, it was my husband and my mom and dad were in the room, and that's how it was last time when I gave birth to my son. So then finally my OBGYN decides to show up, because we just been talking to her through the phone. So she shows up, and then she starts telling us like, oh, this is a special day, and like this is a special delivery. And I thought like, oh, that's so nice, like she's just being nice and cares about my baby. But she kept saying it like in a way that was making me think like, what is, like, she wasn't just meaning it about like my baby, she was talking about something else. And then it was kind of a chill environment though. So when I gave birth, she was just sitting in a rolly chair, and it only took me 2 pushes to push my daughter out. And everybody was like talking amongst themselves, like the nurses, and then everybody was like chill, because it wasn't like stressful at all. Like the pain was gone. And when you have epidural, like, yes, you feel like the contractions, but it doesn't hurt, you just feel it. It's kind of hard to explain unless you actually been through it. So when it came down to the time, when my OBGYN checked me, and she's like, okay, you're at a 10, and then she's like, all right, let's push. Everybody was just like so chill, and even I was calm talking to her. And then just pushed her out in 2 pushes. And then instead of putting the baby on me like I wanted, she was posing and she took a picture with the baby, and my husband took the picture. And she kept saying like, it's a special day. So right after the picture was taken, she's like, so do you guys want to know why it's a special day? Like, even though like it's my daughter's day and my day, she's like, it's my birthday. So it was her birthday, and so it was like really special. She got to deliver a baby on her birthday, so she shares the birthday with my daughter. So that was like something special. She was really excited about it, but she didn't tell us till after I gave birth. So that was kind of cool and all of that. And then after she took the picture, she laid the baby on me, and then everybody was just taking pictures, and then I breastfed the baby, and my husband cut the umbilical cord, and she weighed 6 pounds and 13 or 14 ounces. It kept changing on the little weight thing. And she was 20.5 inches long, and she was born exactly at 2 p.m. And pretty much after that, it's been a breeze. It's been really fun. But that is pretty much my labor and delivery story. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope, maybe it's helpful to some of you guys. So yeah, thank you guys for watching.